Hey guys, so I'm going to attempt to show you how to get through setting up everything you need to do in order to do the graphics assignment. This video is going to focus on doing the NetBeans version, since that's what all the lab computers have. That's what we're used to using, and that'll be what we'll do in the demo. Basically what you've got is, let me jump back to Canvas. So here is the first batch of files I've given you. So obviously today we're going to start with that. Here's the most important one today. This is StdDraw. This is the library class that contains all of the codes we're going to use. Now, it's a very abridged version. There's lots of other drawing tools out there and stuff like this, but this one has a good assortment for us to get started. And it's, unless you're wanting something very specific, it's probably going to have what you need in order to do it. So what you're going to do is you're going to click this download error, and it's going to pop up down here, download your file. That way we've got it so we can use it, okay? Next thing we're going to do is we're going to jump into NetBeans. Now, I've already made a file for graphics, but I'm going to show you how to do the same, so I'll make a new one. You go over here to the yellow box, and you click your projects. We're going to make a new Java project, and this time we'll just call it something, whatever we want. We'll call this one Draw. I'm going to deselect the name because I don't want it to mess with that, and I'm going to hit Finish. And I'll see a new folder pop up over here in the sidebar. All right, now the folder exists. So I go to my Downloads folder right here. Here's StdDraw that we downloaded. So I'm going to cut it, and then I'm going to go put it in that file we just created. If you've forgotten where it's located, it's in your H drive, in Documents, under NetBeans, and then here are your project folders. We're going to go into Draw, and then inside Source, this is where we paste StdDraw. It has to be in this folder where we create our normal files for everything to work symbiotically, okay? This is the concept of having a secondary or an extra file that's bringing more information into than what we're using, okay? Notice the address, it's right there inside my Draw project, inside the source folder. Once you get that done, you can close the folder. We are done with that, okay? Next thing we've got back in Canvas is I've given you a tester file, okay? So I'll download that now and jump back in here. So here's my tester. And as you can see, it's just built in. So I can copy this code, and then I can jump into NetBeans and make a new file. Make sure you select Draw, and then you can name this one whatever you want. It's just a tester. So that's what I'll call it, okay? Once I do that, I paste my code. Oops, okay. Change the title real fast to there. Now it's tester, and if I did everything right, then when I hit run, it will spit out a picture. Okay, so there you go. So we've got hello world, we've got an empty oval ellipse, we've got a colored in square, and we've got some black text here. Your files have been successfully generated. So that means everything we did worked fine, okay? But look over here at the code, gives me some basic information. So this tells me that it's setting the size of the window right here. It's setting the scales, so we're good there. Insert your code below here. All the sample codes I give you during this lesson will have that basic setup so that you don't have to worry about creating a window on your own. That way everything's already there to fit in. See down here, ellipse, set pen color, that's what changes the color of the drawing tool, text, pen color, rectangle, pen color, and then text. And I'm giving you some colors of what it was. These are the old heritage maroon and Vegas gold colors they used to use. They've since updated the hex code, but those are the old school ones. And that's it. That's how to set things up. Thank you. All right, guys, for Repl.it, it's a little bit tricky, but first let me caution you. I have tried this several times already, and it just does not like doing this. I'm on my teacher computer, and even that's getting tapped on the resources, but just because as free accounts, they don't give us a lot of resources on their end. I highly, highly, highly recommend you use a real IDE for the drawing, just so you don't have to deal with this. The last time I closed it out, it had taken 5-10 minutes, still had not processed the drawing, and all my warning lights were going off on Repl.it down here. I'll show you how to do it. Maybe you'll have better luck on your device, or maybe the school student computers are good. Who knows? But I'll show you what it happens. It's very similar to how we did the other one. It's not as different as I remembered. So first thing we do, we create a REPL. It's Java. We can name what we want here. I'll just leave this go. All right. So while that's booting up, we're going to still have to add additional files. Now, we don't have project folders on Repl.it the same way we do with NetBeans and stuff like that, but we do have them contained within the REPL itself. So that's what we're going to do. Right here under File, I'm going to add a new file, and I'm going to make StdDraw. Okay? Capital S, TD, capital D, RAW.java. And I'm going to go ahead and open it. Okay? Just like before, I'm going to download StdDraw, and just so I have only do this once, I'm also going to download the draw tester. Okay? Down here, I've got them both. For StdDraw, I open it, I copy everything in there, and I jump back in here and paste it. That's it. Okay? Then I jump back over to main. Okay, we've got to add a few things. Okay, we do need the utility for the random. Okay, and you guys know I like mine a different way. Just force a habit. Looks wrong without it. Okay, I take out hello world, and then I go back to here and I open the draw tester. Now, the class, the main method, those are all taken care of by Repl. So I just go inside here and I highlight what's in between the curly brackets so I can stick it in. Okay? Now, ideally, that's it. Okay? So when I go ahead and run, it'll take a couple of seconds, but you will see that the server will return that it received it, and it's going to start to draw it. But if you keep your eye on these, once it gets a message back, it's going to start going all orange or red, and there'll be a black display up here. Who knows? Finger crossed, maybe it'll run this time. Okay. So what should happen is right there is where the drawing should appear, just like it did in NetBeans. But as you see, the CPU, the virtual CPU rather, that they're giving us on their system at the limit. The virtual RAM they're giving us, we're exceeded their limit. So maybe if you wait 10-15 minutes longer, it might draw. But every time I've tried this, whether I'm here or on one of the other computers at the school, this is what I get. It's a spinning thing, so you don't actually get to see it. That is how it is supposed to work, except, you know, draw. If you want to try Repl.it, that's on you. Remember that that is not an excuse for not getting your grade in. Hope that helps. Again, highly recommend an IDE, NetBeans, Eclipse, jGrasp, something else, something real. Repl.it's fine for the text-based stuff we usually do, but the drawing, I think it might be too much for it. Okay? Thank you. One last thing before we get out of here, I just want to go ahead and go over the skeleton of the drawing file. So let me see. Okay, so technically for tomorrow's stuff, but I've got a clean starter code. And let's just go look through it real fast. Oh, well, hang on. I coded it. I've already got it. Okay. So this is the basics of what's going on. We only need the utility folder for the randomness. If we weren't using random, the way we've got StdDraw set up, we don't have to use any other inputs. Some of the times you might see my files that have .java.alt, AWT, or java.swing. Those are other ways of drawing that we're choosing not to use. They can be a little more complicated, so we've opted to keep it simple for this year. This is what your starter code is going to look like. Everything else is the same. I've got my class file. I've got my main method. For this one, I've gone ahead and given you random in case if you want to change the variable, be my guest. Then I've got the window, okay? Now, most of the assignments I give you and that you're going to work on, don't mess with this. 800 by 600 is a nice, if small, window for you to fill, and that's fine. When we do the big project, if you want to make it a bigger scale, you can. Just be careful using it, okay? If you don't know Windows screen resolutions, do a quick Google search. You can find some bigger ones. I've got mine in as highest setting as this monitor will let me, just so I have room. That's why I have to zoom in a lot. But anyway, this draw, oh, well, okay, the quadrants are there as well. Again, that's for the assignment next time. You can delete these if you want, because those are just going to cut your screen in half. Down here below, this is where you're going to add your codes, okay? Whatever you're drawing, whatever objects, this is where they go. And last but not least is the reminder here. Make sure this file, or whatever you're drawing in, is in the same place as StdDraw in the project, okay? If StdDraw is not in the same folder as your other codes, it will not work, okay? Just wanted to give you the last bit, so good luck drawing.